As teachers, we're constantly introduced to new ideas, strategies and activities. But for these to truly work, we need to adapt them, shaping them to fit our teaching style, our classroom dynamics, the subject matter and most importantly, the individual learners in front of us. Over time this becomes instinctive. You know how to approach each lesson and each student without overthinking it. This process mirrors my philosophy for teaching English. Language learning isn't about memorising rules or lists of words. It's about meeting, manipulating and making it your own. That's the foundation of the MMM framework. Meet the language, whether it's key vocabulary, a grammar point or an entire concept. Manipulate it, experiment, practice and play with the language to deepen understanding. Make it your own. Use the language confidently, meaningfully and fluently. But the beauty of this framework is that it isn't just for teaching language. It works for content learning too. When students encounter new information, they need to interact with it, hypothesize about it and experiment with it, just like language, before they can take full ownership of the knowledge. Today we're looking at the MMM framework and how it fits in with teaching both language and content. We'll explore some practical ways to apply it in the classroom, whether you teach English or another subject in English. Let's get started. My name's JMHdR, an English language teacher and trainer, a CELTA Delta tutor with a Masters in Teaching English to Young Learners. I've got a PGCE in primary education and over 30 years of classroom experience. I understand the unique challenges that teachers face and I'm passionate about sharing practical, effective strategies to enhance your classroom practices. The MMM framework helps structure vocabulary and grammar teaching in a way that makes learning more effective and engaging. When introducing new vocabulary or grammar, students need meaningful exposure. This could be through a story, a video, a real-life scenario, or an image that provides context. So for example, if you're teaching comparatives and superlatives, you might start with an engaging map activity where students compare cities or mountains or rivers. If it's vocabulary, you could introduce the words in a short text or using visuals rather than as an isolated list. Once students have met the language, they need to interact with it. This stage involves structured practice, including sorting activities, such as categorising adjectives into comparative or superlative forms, gap fill exercises, perhaps sentence building with sentence frames, or matching words with definitions and images or example sentences. The goal here is experimentation, allowing students to see patterns, make connections and refine their understanding. The final stage of Make It Their Own is where students take ownership of the language by using it in meaningful, personal ways. Activities could include writing short descriptions of their hometown using comparatives and superlatives, or engaging in a class debate using key vocabulary, creating mini presentations using the target language in context. By the end of this process, students are not just recognising the language, they're using it with confidence. Now let's compare this to teaching content, subjects like science, history or geography. The process is strikingly similar. Just as students meet new language, they also encounter new concepts. This might happen through a demonstration, a short video, an engaging discussion. So, for example, in a history lesson, students might watch a reenactment of an event before discussing key figures and causes. Or in science, a simple hands-on experiment could introduce a new principle before explaining the theory behind it. Next, they would manipulate this concept. Students engage with the information in different ways to solidify their understanding. This might involve sorting and classifying information, making predictions and testing hypotheses, completing guided practice tasks like annotating diagrams or answering scaffolded questions. Finally, they make it their own. Students apply what they've learned in new ways, demonstrating their understanding. This can be done through group discussions and presentations, designing their own experiments, writing summaries or reflections in their own words. By following this process, students aren't passively receiving knowledge, they are actively constructing it. The MMM framework is such a core belief of mine that I've built my Enriching EAL course for teachers around it. It's designed for classroom and subject teachers working with EAL learners. My goal is to help teachers meet the ideas and strategies for supporting EAL learners, manipulate those strategies with my guidance to fit their specific classrooms and subject, and ultimately make the approaches their own, tailoring them to their learners and teaching styles. Now that you've met the MMM framework, I hope you can manipulate it to suit your own teaching situation and make it your own. Try it in your classroom and see how it works for you. I'd love to hear how you get on, so share your experiences in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit the bell for more EAL teaching tips. See you next time. Bye.